Hello everybody, welcome back to the stream. Good to see you again. Let's see what we'll get up to this stream. I kind of have a number of random things on my plate, but before we get into that, I want to remind everyone that Alchemortis is available for wishlisting. It's a dark fantasy roguelite auto-battler, so if you're interested in that, definitely give it a wish list. I would appreciate that. You can also support the game at Patreon. Excuse me, if you subscribe at this $15 a month tier here for at least 1 month, you will get an Alchemortis Steam key sent to you when the game launches, so you won't need to buy it on Steam, and your name will be listed in the in-game Alchemortis credits. So that's a couple of nice perks for supporting the development, supporting me while I'm trying to finish this game. And also you could support me by purchasing one of my Udemy courses. I've got several up on Udemy. They all cover different topics, so take a look at those if you're interested. You'll learn how to build complete games in the Godot engine, and again, it's a great way to help me out. That's the main way, the Patreon, the Udemy courses, that's the main way that I'm funding myself right now while I'm trying to get this game out the door. So all that support is appreciated, but also you can like the video, subscribe to the channel, follow on Twitch, and join the Discord. So again, check those out if you're interested, and we can get right into it. Hello, Francesco. Welcome. Good to see you. Hello, Rohan. Good to see you. When will stream start? It started a little bit ago. I'm just kidding. Good to see you. Hello, Emerson. Hello, Nathan. Kelso, welcome. Welcome, welcome. Time for Game Dev once again. Hello, Jack at Daytona. Good to see you. Alrighty. Hello, Clickertail. I love seeing the familiar faces and the new faces in chat. Well, faces probably isn't the right word. The new avatars? What would I say? Love seeing the new avatars in the chat. That seems kind of weird. Anyway. So I've been, I created a little bit of a debug tool for myself last night, and I was working on it this morning actually before stream. So it's kind of cool. I've been needing a way to get some extra debug tools during runtime, so I don't have to keep changing code all the time. So I've got this little debug menu that I can bring up, and there's a number of commands here, but I also, well, there's a number of commands, and then I have the hotkeys that already existed. So what I could do here is like for add blood, for instance. So if I open up my inventory, I do add blood. That just gives me that amount of blood right there. And I could do add residue, 50, like so. I could also add cards. So if I do this and this and this and this and this. So I could do list cards for one, and that will just list all the card IDs in the game. And then what I could do is I could say, I want to add card Phoenix, and that puts that right in my inventory there. And now I've got a Phoenix that I can use for my purposes. So if I ever want to test a specific combination, I could do that. And then I could also do set enemy strength to a certain number, and that will update the notoriety strength here. So if I ever want to test specifically like going into the next phase or whatever, I could set this to whatever number I want. And the nice thing is that if I do set enemy strength, like if I do a number greater than 100, that will just automatically work. So I don't need to worry about that. And then I go through here, and then when I come back out, it will upgrade all of the enemy encounters and reset that back to 0. So yeah. Anyway, that's what we've got going on here. So that's just a nice little debug menu for me. Obviously, this will not be present in the full release of the game. This gets stripped out. But yeah. Hello, Johan. I've just moved houses. I'm surrounded by cardboard boxes. Can't find anything I'm looking for, but at least Firebelly is still making his game as always. Yeah. Moving is a pain. Moving might be one of the least pleasant experiences that most people will encounter. So I definitely feel your pain. What are we doing today? I have no idea. We're going to figure that out here shortly. Hello, Ninja Link. Welcome back. So I was working on combat VFX. We could maybe potentially continue on with that. Would that be a good idea to do? Let's see. Let me look at my board here, actually. So we're working on the combat VFX. We got a bunch of stuff in the backlog as well. But we could continue on with combat VFX, I think. Add button to main menu. The to-do list is gradually shrinking, so that's great. That's good. All right, I'm going to close this because I need to rebase. So let's go to combat VFX. Let's just go ahead and rebase this real quick. That should be easy. We're going to force push because we live dangerously. Okay, and then we can reopen Alchemortis here. So the nice thing is that, well, this is kind of a tangent, but I've got a nightly backup of all my Git repositories for my network attached storage, my NAS. And the nice thing about that is that it gives me a little bit more confidence when I'm force pushing. Hey, cat, get off the route. Go, go, go. Go, go, go. Get. Gives me a little bit of confidence when force pushing because I could always go back to that backed up version if I accidentally rewrite some history I wasn't supposed to. So we're good. Anyway, so the combat VFX, I think we stopped with like the bleed effect, which probably needs some visual help here. But let's see. So maybe we'll just update these visuals a little bit here. That might help. Where did that go? Open file, bleed.asprite. Here we go. Yeah, so let's just see if I can add some shading to this. We don't want to go overboard, but we do want to make it look a little bit nicer, I think. That seems decent. I might change this up a little bit. Yeah, that looks better to me. This is also a little bit too long. There we go. Okay, and then maybe we just trim this up as well. Okay, that seems good. And then for the bleed bottom here, let's clean this up a little bit as well. Oh, you know what I might want to do actually? Let's go back to the bleed top here. Maybe something like this, and then yeah, that looks fine. I could even go a step further and just put like a purple pixel there. Purple pixel. All right, anyway, so bleed bottom. We'll do the same thing here. Okay. All right, let's see how that looks. So file, export layers. Maybe you said 1,000 times about what COM on board application are you using. I have said it 1,000 times, but it's okay. It's Obsidian. Yeah. Naukang is correct. I hope I said that correctly. Obsidian. It's Obsidian with the Kanban community plugin. Will there be another playtest? Yes, there will be. Yes, there will be. All right, let's take a gander at what that looks like. Yeah, the next playtest, I mean, hopefully we can do it. If I'm efficient, maybe we could do it at the end of this month, but we'll see. We will see. Yeah, I think that looks good. Yeah. That seems fine to me. So maybe we could add a little bit of a blood splatter or something. So that heal effect probably needs to be changed a little bit. But I think we're looking pretty good with the combat effects, generally speaking. So maybe we could just start polishing these up. Let me see if I'm missing any combat effects, actually. Probably want to redo the targeted one, actually. Damage, poison, fire, shield, heal, bleed. I think we did everything. All the damage types, at least. I probably want to redo the damage one, though. That one's not looking super satisfying. Do you like that, Ninja Link? Let's see if we could get something a little bit more diverse on this board here. So we'll do like a heal. We could do another bleed and damage here. We could do fire here. And then let's get a poison one as well. Let's do add card ceremonial dagger. Oh, I already had a ceremonial dagger. Oops. That's all right. Holy, oh, I meant the damage type. Oh, I see. Yeah, holy, that's a good point. Yeah, holy needs to have one. But here's with the diversity of effects in place. So, I mean, maybe it might be a little bit too visually messy, but I think I do kind of like it better than just the previous way of doing things. But I do like the new effects. Okay. That's good. I do want to make the effects not go from the center of the card. They need to go from like the drag root of the card. So for instance, if I move this scythe, you see how this is like this is being moved around the top left corner. So that's almost like the center of mass of the card is the way you could think about it. So for a card that's a 2x1, it's just going to be, the mouse is going to be right in the middle when I'm dragging it. But for a card that has an odd shape, it's more offset. The problem is that the visual effects are coming from the center of the card, which is especially actually going to look weird if I were to get the tapeworm in here. So if I do add card tapeworm. Oh, failed to add card. Let's try that again. So when we add the tapeworm here, this is going to look particularly weird, I think, because it's going to be, that poison effect is going to be coming from the center, like here, I think, which is not exactly ideal. So let's see. Oh, this is going to trigger a boss fight. That's okay. So that poison effect is going to start from like the center. Oh, it exhausted itself. Oh, it doesn't apply poison directly. Well, it's the same thing though. Have you implemented the manual turn stepping someone mentioned? No, I have not. Would I ever make a Souls-like? But I think, yeah, I will probably do that at some point, but that's going to be later in development, I think. Would I ever make a Souls-like? Maybe. I think my the next game that I want to make after Alchemortis is going to be probably like some kind of single-player extraction shooter. I think I'm going to lean into the... I think my gimmick as a developer, assuming Alchemortis is successful, my gimmick is going to be making like dark fantasy necromancer style games. So the question is, what would a single player extraction shooter kind of game look like if it was like a necromantic themed? So anyway, but a Souls-like would be fun to do. I mean, I think Souls-likes are really hard because the whole thing that makes Souls-likes compelling is the level design, which is very difficult, and then the feel of the combat, right? Dark Souls would not be nearly as popular if it didn't have the tight, weighty combat that it does, and like you could just tell by like the indie Souls-likes that have been made that they don't even come close to the quality of combat, right? So I think that's a very, very, very difficult thing to do. And so I would be doubtful that I'd be able to pull that off well. So, you know. Ooh, I died instantly. Very cool, very cool. Anyway, so let's tighten up some of these effects. We do need a holy effect, though. I don't know what that's going to look like, but I'll just go ahead and put effect type holy here so we can do that later. I'm making a necromancy themed Souls-like combined with a survivors-like. Interesting. Yeah, I'd be curious to see what that actually looks like. Anyway, let's change the origin. Let's change the origin of this. So get center of mass for card. Absolute occupied cells. So what I may be able to do... If I go to my effect player components, this is the center position always. But what we may need to do is... Effect origin is equal to card registry, get center of mass, base card dot card, definition resource dot absolute occupied cells. And we're going to change this to effect origin. Okay, let's see if that works. So what was a card that I was doing? I think the Scythe, right? So we'll try it with the Scythe. We'll see what that does. Hello, Dev Godot. Do you plan to publish for mobile? Not at the moment, no. Not at the moment. I mean, I think this game would be very easily portable to mobile. I think. But you know, that's just a hunch. I don't know for sure. That is not working at all. I think this needs to be... hard node at center position. The global position plus the half size. So this needs to be card node dot global position plus that, I think. What is off about that? Let's do this. Add child, new color rect, size, vector 2.1 times 4. Let's just do 2. Color is equal to colors dot red. Position equals 2 local effect origin. So I just want to put a little visual indicator of like where it actually thinks the effect origin is, because I can't really tell. I can't really tell with just the effects being played, so let's do this. Okay, so the effect origin is correct. I don't know if you can see that very well, but there is a little red square right in that middle of the top left cell, so that's definitely correct. Okay, I think that's probably fine. Okay, that's probably fine. No sound effects? There are sound effects in the game, I just have them muted for the stream. But yeah, there are sound effects in the game. Quite a lot of sound effects, actually. What about doing a class which creates the card automatically for you rather than repeating the same instance of code over and over and over again? I already have that. I can set the cards in here. So test player cards. I can define my test cards in there. But I also have the cheat console, which allows me to add whatever card I want at runtime. Okay, so let's just work on polishing up, I guess, a lot of these A lot of these visual effects. We'll start with the, let's see. I'm going to copy this. Copy. I just admitted to cheating live on stream. Yep. I am cheating, that's for sure. So we want this flame burst here. I'm going to want to make this unique. Paste is unique. Okay, so we got the flame burst. I mean, maybe I'll just try that. See how that works. So in this tween action here, I'm going to set flame. Why did that not work? Flame.emitting is equal to false. Flame burst.emitting is equal to true. All right, let's test that out. When is the release date? Sometime this year. I originally wanted to release in June, which, you know, that would be a tight timeline, but I suppose it's still possible if everything goes well from this point forward, but we'll see. I don't really have a set release date because I'm just trying to get the game looking as good as possible. Now, why didn't that work? Oh, flame burst. I think it was flame dot position. I think that's what I need to do here. So I need to remove that fire burst. I think also I want to remove this and put this in its own tween action here. It's a little bit mistimed. So we'll put this in here. Now, when the status is applied, let's see, on status applied, play effect for received ability, on status applied. So this is here. I actually don't want this here anymore. So I actually want to change that flame burst to only happen when it's actually taking fire damage, I think. So the flame ball that goes over will be the application of fire, and then we'll do that flame burst whenever fire damage is actually taken. Yeah. So we'll do that. How am I going to do that? On status applied. Well, let's take a look at the status component, I guess. Status ticked. So I actually need to determine some way of knowing when this is actually executing. So this status component is calling execute here. Do I want like another status executed signal? So when this fire status ticks, only at certain turn intervals will it actually apply damage. So I can't know on each individual call of execute whether a status has actually dealt its damage or anything. So I don't know that right now. So there's a couple of things I could do. I could potentially return just like a Boolean here to indicate whether it actually did its status effect. The other thing that I could do is I could take this, well, maybe, let's see. Status component. So we got the status execution context. I mean, yeah, we could just make this a bool here for now. That's not exactly good. I think ideally I'd return like a record or something here, which could have a bunch of properties set. So I could return an object that contains data about the execution, but I'm only going to have one property in there for now. So we're just going to return true here and then return false here. Oh, wait, I can't do that. Executed equals false. Executed equals true. So now I'm going to need to update all these. That can just be return false. Yeah, I don't really know about this because I have a bunch of different statuses that are a little bit weird. That's all right. So that might not be ideal, but we'll just roll with it for now. Okay. Emit signal status executed. Okay, so effect player component, what we're going to do, status executed on status executed. Is auto-resolving. Okay, I guess I'm going to need to pass in that is auto-resolving here. That's all right. And then we'll do status execution context dot turn context dot is auto-resolving. Okay. And then in my effect player component, this is fine. We'll rename this Reset status executed. Status is executed this frame. Okay, we could put the fire effect in here now. All right. Rename this as well. All right, let's see what that does. So what I should see is that the fireball should go over to the enemy board, and then every time the enemy board takes fire damage, it should do that flame burst effect. So let's see if that's true. Yeah. So now every time it's taking fire damage, it's doing that flame burst effect. Cool. Excellent. Hello, Tyler. Good morning to you as well. Okay, I think that's looking correct. There's a little bit of visual glitching when the enemy board disappears, so I gotta figure out what's going on there, but generally speaking, I think it's looking all right. Did you make all the art for your game? I did, yes. I did. So update flame burst effect to play when fire damage is dealt. Okay, so that works. What are the other effects we have to do? So we have to do something about this damage. I don't really like this damage effect. Looks really good, thank you. Any tips for consistent pixel art style? Hello, Joel X. Tips for consistent pixel art style. Well, I think, sticking to a palette definitely helps. That kind of forces your hand with sticking to a style. Whether it's a palette that you come up with yourself or that you find online. I think it's really hard if you just have free range of the colors to choose. I think it's really hard to be consistent that way. So sticking to a palette, and it could be it could be a palette of any size. My palette is 8 colors, but you could use a 16 or 32 or 64 color palette. I think the most important thing is that you're just using colors consistently. So that's one. And then, there's other things that you could do, like drawing everything with the same or drawing everything roughly proportional to each other. That's a big one as well. Like, it would look kind of weird if you had a very large sprite that was super detailed and then like really small sprites that were not super detailed. What else? Simple things like if you're using outlines, making sure that you're applying the outlines consistently. So like, for example, in my game Gunforged, I was using outlines for all of the entities, but one of the rules that I had is that I didn't have a line at their feet. So it looked like their feet were like on the ground and not separated from it. Little things like that go a long way to making a consistent style. And then the other thing too is that what I'll do is I'll go back and redo art. Like, so the early art that I made for this game was not super, super good. And I started developing a style more and getting better at art as I developed the game. And what that did is that made all the old sprites look kind of out of place with the new art that I was drawing. So I went back and I actually redrew a lot of the old art that wasn't matching. And there's still some old art in the game that I want to go back and redo because I've started using like more colors for the shading and I've started highlighting things differently. So a lot of the consistency, at least for this game, is just going back and updating things that are no longer consistent with what I'm doing. So yeah, I mean, I guess that's what I would say about that. I'm not an expert artist or anything, so those are just the things that I've been doing for this game, I guess. So I don't like this damage effect here. I want to do something different with this. What can I do for damage instead? Slight swing and move forward. Yeah, I think a swing could work. I think it's just gonna look, I don't know. I almost want, like, if I'm gonna do a swing, I almost want like a smear effect, but the way that I know how to do smear effects involves creating a series of frames for the smear. And I'm not allowed to do frame by frame animation. Excuse me. I'm not allowed to do frame by frame animation, so that would be a problem. But I definitely think more of a slash animation would be appropriate. I mean, we could just try to do a slash animation here and see what that looks like. Change that to cubic. Let's see. We can also start this position up a little bit. We can see how that works. Let's just put a skeleton warrior in there. I don't know if that's going to look good either. I kind of want to try to do something different with that, but I'm just kind of not, I don't have any ideas. Looks good. Yeah, it looks good in editor. We'll see. We'll see how it looks here. Yeah, not quite. Let's see. Okay, let's see what that does. Hello, Rin. I'm doing well. How are you doing? Hmm. Oops. Delete this. Oops. Okay, insert key here. I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna get much of anywhere here. Just writing the usual. Very nice. I don't know about this effect. I might need to come up with something else. Something more visually interesting, more punchy. I want to try something. I'm going to go on a little bit of a tangent. Increase the size of the trigger animation for the card. Maybe also make it move to the side a little bit. We'll see. I mean, that looks better already, I guess. That looks better already. Fungus giganticus. Do I have anything else that does damage? No. Let's do add card, skeleton, warrior. Let's put another one on the board and see what that does. Maybe some swoosh lines. Yeah, I was thinking about how I'm going to do that. Can I do it with a shader, I wonder? Let me see. Can I search? Browse shaders. Search. 2D smear? Nope. Mesh smearing. Procedural idyllic / 2D. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. Oh, we got a live preview here. If it loads. I don't know if I'm going to be able to use this. Pixel / shader. Do I want to wait for this to load? Why is that taking so long? And it doesn't even work? Uh-oh. Am I frozen? I think I'm good. My Brave has crashed. Or become... Oh. Oh, gosh. This is not working. I don't know if this is going to work. Probably not. I literally can't interact with this window. Oh no, it's installing viruses on my machine. Oh, there we go. Oh my gosh. Can I just close this one? Okay, we'll close that. That other / shader probably would have worked. Let me try again. Browse shaders. Here. Let's copy this. We'll just give this a shot here. So if I put a material on here, new shader material, new shader, we'll just make this built in so I don't have to create a file for it. We do that. Shader parameters. Oh. So that changes it completely. What in the heck? Okay, I don't think this is going to work. I guess I could do like a particle effect or something for it, maybe. Maybe I could just like fake the smear to a certain extent. We could try that. Let's do particle, GP particles 2D here. Particles, material. What is that? Canvas item, particles animation, yes. Process material, new particle process material. Animation offset, max of 1. Okay, spawn. We're gonna do a box with some large emission extents. Let's go down to 30 here. Okay. Why does that still seem like it's going way out? Okay, anyway. I don't know if this is going to work, but we'll try it. The lifetime, we got to turn this down to like 0.1 or maybe 0.2 and then crank this number up. Okay. We're just going to see if this works. Scale curve. New curve texture. Curve. We're going to go up and then out. Probably not going to be dense enough. I could implement trails on this again if I could figure out how to do that. I don't know if trails work when you're doing global position changes though. Got to figure that out. Let's see. Trails on. Yeah, I don't know if the trails work when you're doing global position changes. Seems like no. Okay, well, we'll just turn off the trail then. Let me just see how this works, and then before I spend too much time on it, we'll do a new color initial ramp here. Get rid of this. This, we can make it the white color there. I don't know. We will see. Let's see how ugly this looks. If I could tweak it a little bit, it might be okay. Actually, it might be... Let me change some things. So I think the timings are off, but maybe we can make this work. Where's the scale? Here. Let's see if that makes a difference. Yeah, if I could make it leave like streaks of some kind, that would be ideal. Let me try something. We're just experimenting right now. We are just experimenting right now. Height, 16. Maybe 32 is fine. Actually, sprite. Canvas size, let's do 48. And then we could set the grid. Grid settings. Yeah, 16 by 16. We're going to take pure white here. I'm just going to make... Yeah, I'm just going to do this. Thick horizontal chunks. Maybe with some, like, imperfections and whatnot, just to break it up a little bit. Okay. Oops. Assets effect. Particles. I guess I'll just call this particle swipe. Something like that. Okay, anyway. We'll go to the texture here. Now we don't want to change the angle, I don't think. Let's see if that does anything. Probably not, but we'll see. Thick horizontal chunks. My favorite McDonald's meal. Hello, Chris. What am I making? Just working on polishing up the VFX. Mostly just trying to figure out what to do with this damage effect here. That is not working the way that I expected to either. What happens if I turn the lifetime down? I think that should take effect in the game directly, but I'm not sure. Let's see. All right, let's try something else here. Turn this off. Let's see. Default. Turn this to emitting here. Turn this to emitting off. And then let's give it an extra 0.2 seconds, and we'll move that over here. Nope, this is not going to work good. This is not going to look good. Hello, Jahar. Looks almost like a flaming sword. The bite looks awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I think the bite turned out really good. I don't know what to do about this damage, though. Might have to come back to this later. I mean, I think a streak of some kind would work good. I just don't know how to implement a streak effectively. The other option is just to do something very simple here. Take these and just do big old circles. Let's see if that makes a difference. Big old circles, and then what we'll do here is we'll change this emission shape to a point instead. And then we will make sure that this GPU particles 2D is like right on the origin. And then we could probably turn up the lifetime here. Maybe we move this over. Yeah, I don't think this is gonna work. Did you complete the VFX for Bite? I did, yeah. You honestly like the stab? Could probably do a hit stop effect. Sword goes in, pauses, pulls out, and blood spray happens. That could work. I mean, I guess the problem with blood spray is that, you know, is that going to give the impression of like bleed or something instead? My thought would be bleed unless bleed looked very different, yeah. Okay, this isn't working. I don't know what to do about this. I mean, I could change it. Maybe something like, I don't know. I'm thinking maybe an axe would be better because then I could do like a chop animation a little bit nicer. I don't know. Maybe make it white again and put it on the tip of the sword. We could try that. We could definitely try that. Reset. Put it on the tip of the sword. And then change this color here to white. Like drops of blood from the board to indicate bleed. Yeah. You already have a sword and shield VFX, right? I just have shield as a different VFX for the shield. The sword is this damage. You'd want them to be more distinct, so yeah, axe. An axe might work. I'm almost thinking it'd be kind of fun to do arms on the axe too, like you get the full arm animation of the axe coming down. Maybe we'll try that. That slash trail is not it. No, it's not. Goodbye, slash trail. Okay. All right, I'm going to take a quick 3-minute break, and when I come back, we'll try something different. We'll try a different approach for this. And we'll see how it goes. And maybe an axe will be more appropriate. Maybe it can feel more weighty that way. But we'll see. Anyway, I'll be right back in just 3 minutes, and we'll continue on. All right, I'm back. Let's see what we could do here. Yeah, maybe we'll just do something different with this. Canvas size, let's just do 64 by 64 so we have some room. All right, can we do an axe? Let's see. Okay. This might be a little bit big. Put a background on here, I can't really see. There we go. Okay. Maybe I do want to make this bigger. Yeah, I guess that can work. I guess that can work. Something like this, maybe. Okay. So it's roughly the same size. Okay. All right, we'll see what that does. I don't know. Maybe this is too much here. Anyway, it's fine. It's just a visual effect. You have to make a smear texture that you animate. Oh, I forgot to read this. That you animate with the swing to look 100. Yeah, the problem with this smear is that I don't know how to do it with a shader. The only way I know how to do it is with sprite frames, like frame by frame animation, and that is disallowed. That's one wide axe. Do the pointy spike on the top reminds me of that Jack Smith game I used to play on Flash games. Truly an era to have nostalgia about. Yeah. Hello, Snupbill. Welcome back. Good to see you. With the message Yummers. Hello, I'm Laxon. Thank you for the subscription. Very much appreciate that. It's very much appreciated. Thank you. All right, let's see if we can get this to work now. So we'll delete this one. Sprite, crop. Okay, so we save this, save it here. Now we got to redo the animations. So we'll change this a little bit here. Position, let's go up some more. Let's just delete all these position things. Just gonna put some rough positions in place. Give me 1 second, real quick. Okay, I'm back. Still think it needs a spike on the top. Just one texture and have it follow the axe. Well, I tried to do that. Didn't work that well. But maybe I could try some more stuff. In the other pixel art games I've seen, they just show a full non-animated smear near the end of the swing, so you could just draw it. Maybe that could work. We'll see. Okay. And then maybe we'll do like a little, like it's almost sticking here, so let's take this and move this over. Might be too long of an animation. What the heck? Copy value, paste value here. This height is too high. Let's try linear here. I don't know. I don't know. Let's just see what that does. What that looks like. 4.7 is getting an update so that you can copy paste the values of a whole group in the inspector, which sounds great if you want a whole transform. Oh yeah, that's yeah, I saw that. I think that's going to be very, very useful. Let's see if this looks. Make it look a little bit more choppy. No pun intended. Oh, that looks kind of good. Now I think all these positions need to be moved over a little bit. Let's just shift it over by 8. Okay. We're getting there, I think. I think it's looking better than the sword, at least. The other thing I could do with the axe, instead of scaling it out, is I could have it fade out like the shield does. So you see the shield here. It just fades out rather than scaling out. I think we're getting there. I mean, it's coming along. Any thoughts? Will the axe be for all attacking cards? Yeah, so the axe is a representation of anything that does physical damage. So yeah, any card that does physical damage, that will be the axe. All right, well, I need to think on this a little bit more. So I'm just going to end the stream there. A little bit early, but that's all right. If you are interested, you could wishlist Alchemortis on Steam. It's linked in the description below. Maybe worth loading the board to see how it looks. Yeah. What do you have in mind for replayability? I think challenges in different modes like Balatro would be awesome. Yeah, challenge modes would be something to do for sure. There's the unlock system too, which is going to, you know, for completionists, you're going to have to do a bunch of different things to like get all the elements that you need, or all the cards and artifacts unlocked, all the characters unlocked. So there's that for sure. But challenge runs, definitely I want to do that too. I think the problem is that it's too fast for 60 FPS, so it just shows as its individual frames. Fear it will be very noisy. Yeah, maybe the VFX just aren't going to work. I don't know. I have to think about it. Trying to get more feedback into the combat, but yeah, it may not end up working out. We'll see. Anyway, yeah, sorry, Yito. But anyway, check out the links in the description for all the ways you could support the game, and I'll be back at it, if not this afternoon, then tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern, so I hope to see you there. Maybe just a wiggle and scale for all actions. The VFX for sure, but if it's too much going on, it'll be hard to read. Yeah. We'll figure it out. I gotta think on it, but anyway, take care everyone, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.